Hey my lovelies! Welcome back to my channel, and I've got another video for you today using this week's nail team glitters of the week, the First to Bloom Elite glitters, and some of the new Gems acrylics. So to see what I've used and how I've created this set, please keep watching. So I'm working on Eliza, my red iguana hand today. I've applied the gem stiletto tips and just nipped the end off, so I've got a long coffin. I am using, surprise surprise, Gems Crystal Clear Acrylic, and then I am using the new cover powder. This is blush. It is an absolutely beautiful, soft, pinky, peachy cover powder. I think it could be my new favourite. And then the colour I'm using for this set is April. This is the new peach from the Whispers of Spring collection, which I showed in my unboxing earlier this week. The glitters of the week are the First to Bloom Elite glitters, and I am using Lulu in this design. This is a sort of orangey, peachy, iridescent, and then I've dug out some dried flowers. I've got these peachy flowers, which ended up looking almost the same colour as the acrylic, but I still loved how it turned out, and my trusty little bit of plastic for applying. So first things first, I need to apply my thin clear base. So I am just going in with crystal clear over all of these nails. I'm either using the Kate or the Elena brush for this set. I kind of mix and match between those two brushes. If it's a longer set, it's normally Kate. If it's a shorter set, it's normally Eleanor, but you know, sometimes I like to mix it up. So honestly, I can't remember which one I used, but it is one of the Gems brushes. On the ring finger and the middle finger, I am going to be doing some reverse smile lines with blush. So I've applied my first bead roughly where I want my smile line to be. I have blended it right back so that my second and cuticle bead will blend into it, and now I'm just using the very side of my brush to shape my smile line, making sure I've got a nice even wall all the way round so that I can then, you know, butt the next colour up to it. And once I'm happy with that smile line, go in with the next bead, blend that into it, and then I will do a further cuticle bead and blend that into that. How pretty is this cover powder though? I think it is absolutely gorgeous. This and Rosabella, my absolute favourites. I'm already in love with this one. You can see I'm doing my cuticle bead now. I wasn't worrying about apex or anything because I'm going to do that with crystal clear in a moment. Just blending that right down, making sure that smile line is nice and even and I've got a nice shape. Doesn't have to be perfect because we do file it to really neaten it up, but I like to do as much with the brush as I can. And now I'm doing exactly the same on this finger, which is the middle finger. So again, starting off with my smile line, making sure that is nice and neat, nice even wall. So doing lots of work with the brush to minimise my file time, and yeah, exactly the same as I did it before. So instead of talking through, I've nasty habit lately of just waffling on all through the video. I'm just going to shut up and let you watch. So now the nail bed in blush is all done. I'm coming in with Crystal Clear and I'm just going to encapsulate that and build up my apex. You could also use Precious Pink for this if you're using the Gems range. That is a nice translucent pink. Very, very nice for encapsulating the cover acrylics and also anything with a bit of pink in it. Colour, glitter, all sorts. But I already had Crystal Clear out, so I just did it in Crystal Clear. So for this, getting the apex in place, evening up that wall if it was a bit uneven in places, because I want it to be the same thickness all the way round, tidying up the smile line as I go, because I don't want to change the shape of it after I spent so long perfecting it. Not that you saw how long I spent doing it, because I sped it up. And then I'm just going to do the same on the middle finger as well, and then what I'll do is let that clear acrylic fully set and dry, and then I will file that smile line so it's just perfectly even and neat. And I do often just refine over the surface if I felt sort of that smile line wall was a little bit uneven. If I manage to get it spot on, I just file the smile line in. So just finishing this off, felt like my apex didn't have quite enough going on there, so I've gone in with a second bead. I am one of those people that like my like to be extra sure I've got enough apex and then just file it down if need be, than not have enough. You can always file it down. It's a nightmare if you've got to then go back and add a bit more after you filed the nails. So yeah, I always like to just go in with a bit more and file it down if I'm feeling a bit uncertain. Now I am applying the beautiful April on the pinky and the index finger. I am doing a full nail of this colour on both of them. How beautiful is this colour? Now, when I did the unboxing and swatching earlier in the week, I said this was a colour that the range desperately needed for spring and summer. We really did need a peach. I've regularly got peachy ideas and I didn't want to have to go into my glam and glitz if I could avoid it, because I like to, you know, stick to gems. So to have this colour in this new collection, I was just so excited. It is beautiful. It is so pigmented. They all are. So, I mean, goes without saying, but it is such a pretty colour. It's also one that is going to take you through into summer. So nice summery floral nails. I just think this colour is beautiful. I love the whole lot of the new collection, but this peach I was so excited about because I've wanted a peach for so long. So I'm just finishing off applying this where I had a few little gaps. That is nothing to do with the acrylic and more to do with my application. I just, you know, missed a few little bits. Going in, make sure I've got full coverage. I think this looks really pretty with that cover acrylic as well. I have now filed my smile lines, so I'm just cleaning that up, and now I'm going to go in with that Lulu, I couldn't remember which one I'd used, the Lulu Elite Glitter just on those tips. I'm going to get right up into the wings, so just taking little beads and using the tip of my brush just to get it right up in there and making sure I've got full coverage over the whole of these tips. I'm going to be adding some petals from those dried flowers on top, but this is sort of my base colour, this is my base to the petals, these little glitters, so I wanted to make sure I've got full coverage on that tip. So getting right up into the wings, teeny tiny little amounts of clear acrylic and using the tip of my brush where I need it. I'm going to let that set before adding the petals, because there's nothing worse than smooshing the glitter. So I'm going to apply my flowers on the other two nails. So I've gone in with a washy bead of clear acrylic. It's a bit more than a wash, but it's not a proper bead, if that makes sense. Applied my flower where I wanted it, and now I've got my little piece of plastic, wrapped it right around the nail, pinching it tight underneath so that that flower will stick in place and stick to the contour of the nail. Now, I probably should have used a slightly different colour flower because it is almost identical to the acrylic. But I actually quite liked the finished look. It's one of those where you have to look close up to see that there's a flower, but it's subtle, and I liked that. And subtle is not what I'm normally known for. Doing the same on the pinky, I just put the flower in a slightly different place. So I'm just sticking it down, pinching underneath. I mean, I've got gloves on. I could have actually just pressed it down using my gloves, but I do like using my little bit of plastic because I can really pull it tight and shape it to the nail. Now the glitter is all set, I've just sort of broken off a few of the petals, and I'm just going to stick a couple or one on each of the tips. So clear acrylic, and now I've got my little bit of plastic, and just holding that down on the nail. I actually found on here using my fingers was slightly easier because I didn't have the whole nail surface, I just had that little tip. And then the same on the middle finger. I think on here I picked out a double petal, and it's just playing around with what fits, not worrying too much if there's any overlap because I can trim and file that away. So just sticking this down, holding it in place using my body heat, and then we're going to add a touch more glitter to the pinky and the index finger. So I am just going to apply some of that glitter very thin, just sort of on the nail around the flower. I don't want to overlap the flower, I just want to add some around it. So I picked up way too much for sort of that area of the nail, so I just moved it across to the other nail, you know, so I'm not wasting. I mean, it was the tiniest amount, it really wouldn't have mattered, but I like to use as much as I can. And then I'm just going in with tiny beads, and just sort of filling in any little gaps around that flower. And then as you move the hand and the fingers, and it sort of catches in the light, I think it just looks really pretty. Peel that little bit of plastic away, and now that is the design all laid down. You see now we're a little bit closer, you can get the idea of the flowers and you can pick out that glitter. Need to encapsulate all of this in clear acrylic now. Well, only the tips of the middle and the ring finger, but the full nail of the other two. Make sure everything is fully covered, and then I will file these shape, so neaten up the side walls, the free edge, smooth out, refine the surface, and then these nails will be ready to finish off with a touch of bling and Miss Tina top. So here they are all filed. As I said before, it is very subtle with those little flowers and petals on those full April nails, but I absolutely love it. So we're going to give it a good wipe over, get rid of any little bits of dust or fluff or anything I don't want in the finished nails. I made sure to give it a good clean under the tips of the middle two nails because they are slightly clear in places because it's an iridescent glitter. And now I'm going to add some gold crystals, and I'm just going to do them around the cuticle on the middle two nails, and I'm just going to add one in the middle of the flowers on the pinky and the index finger, just because. I was umming and ahhing about digging out sort of a round glitter piece or something to add in the middle there before I encapsulated, but I decided to go with the crystal. So here you see I'm just building up my crystals around the cuticles. So I started with my middle crystal, and then I work each side, adding in the crystals how I want to sort of build it up. So I sort of go right from the biggest in the middle, and then I get smaller and smaller as I go round. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the ring finger, have the same crystal pattern, the same sizes. I like it to be matchy matchy. And then we'll be ready to add Miss Tina. So crystals all applied and fully stuck down, and that glue is nice and dry. So Tina Top is in the building, and she is going to top coat all of these nails. I'm being really careful not to go over top of those crystals. It's a little bit harder when you stick one in the middle of the nail, and I do think if you do go over a crystal that's stuck in the middle of a nail like I've done on the pinky and the index, then it's not the end of the world. But where I've done them around the cuticle, I'm just getting right up to them, just twisting my brush slightly so I can get in any little gaps. And this is just an additional layer of security to really hold those crystals in place, and they will dull if you go over them with top coat, so you just want to get right up close to them without covering them. So I'm going to finish applying Tina to all of these nails, and then I'm going to pop in the lamp for a 60-second cure, and this design is done. And here they are. It is a super subtle and simple spring design in my opinion, but I love them. I love the little touch of sparkle with that Elite glitter, and I really do love the very subtle flowers on that pinky and index finger. You could miss out the crystal in the middle of those flowers if you wanted to, but I just felt like going with it. That is this design done. I absolutely love this new cover powder blush, and also I love all the new colours from the Whispers of Spring collection. I do have one of them on my nails as well, but April is such a pretty spring colour. It's one everyone needs. As you can see, I've got the lily, the turquoise on my nails with the beautiful flora. But that's it for this video. Another one done. So please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave me any comments down below. And if you haven't already, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I will pop all the product details and links in the description box for you. Don't forget, until Monday morning, the glitters of the week, so the First Bloom Elite glitters, are on sale, but for everything else you can use Helen 5 at the nail team for a 5% discount. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another video very soon. Bye. Mwah.